The Elves and the Shoemaker. There was once a shoemaker who lived with his wife in a small house at the edge of a town. For many years he had worked hard and earned enough. But slowly his trade failed him. Customers stopped coming, leather grew expensive, coin grew scarce. At last, he only had enough leather to make one final pair of shoes. That evening, he cut the leather carefully and laid the pieces on his workbench. Then he went to bed, intending to finish his shoes in the morning. When he rose the next day and went to his workshop, he stopped in surprise. There, on the bench, stood a pair of shoes. They were finished. And not only finished, they were well made. The stitching was neat, the shape was true, and the leather shone. The shoemaker said nothing. He placed the shoes in the window. Before noon, a customer bought them for a good price. With the money, the shoemaker bought leather for 2 more pairs of shoes. That night, he cut the leather and laid it out as before. In the morning, 2 pairs of shoes stood on the bench, finished and polished. Again, they sold at once. Day after day, the same thing happened. The shoemaker cut the leather at night. In the morning, the shoes were done. Soon, he had enough money to work comfortably again. His house grew warmer. His table grew fuller. But he could not understand how the work was being done. One evening, he said to his wife, "We should stay awake tonight and see who is helping us." They hid quietly in the corner of the workshop and waited. At midnight, the door creaked open. 2 little elves stepped inside. They wore no shoes and very little clothing. They climbed onto the bench and set to work at once, sewing, hammering, and shaping with great skill and speed. By the time the clock struck 1, the shoes were finished. The elves bowed to the bench and slipped away. The shoemaker and his wife watched in silence. The next morning, the wife said, "They help us, but they have nothing. We should do something for them." Together, they made small clothes, jackets, shirts, and trousers, and tiny shoes to match. That night, they laid the clothes on the bench instead of leather. At midnight, the elves returned. They stopped and stared. They picked up the clothes and put them on at once. They laughed and danced about the room, clapping their hands. Then they bowed, not to the bench this time, but to the shoemaker's door. From that day on, the shoemaker prospered by his own work. He never became rich, but he had enough. And sometimes, when his stitching went particularly well, he thought of small feet moving quickly across the bench and smiled.